Live streaming is dead, it says. So we apologise for that. Alonso leading from the French, from McGregor. Burkett on their outside. This side, Norway, it's Vold and Vold. And the pace very pedestrian, as it was all day yesterday when Alonso was leading. Alonso knows what he wants from these races, and he is very efficient at getting his job done. Through comes the second Spanish crew. We haven't seen them before. And on goes 721. We're looking at Urban and Boulanger. So speeding up again, change of shape. I think it's Denmark coming around the outside of the group. It's getting a little bit tense now because the turn is closing up on the outside of the group. Could be the second Hungarians in the white boat, top of your picture. But they're not going to make it round. The group is going to stay this shape now. McGregor tidily in the V-wash again.
It is Søren Maretti and Jonathan Dagnes Hansen from Denmark, boat number 711 there.
There's a lot of boats to fit round the turn.
It will once again be a difficult turn for Burkett and Hatting.
All the big players are at the front end of this race. So apologies, we were absent for a while. We didn't miss too much. You saw a couple of classic moves from McGregor to hold his place when it was all a bit borderline for him. Made one small mistake that ended in contact, but nothing too drastic.
It's still France, Edwin Lucas and Jeremy Candy.
The French, coached by Pascal Boucheret, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, K2 10,000 metre paddler of all time, with Boucheret and Boccara. Philippe Boccara now living in America. Pascal Boucheret,
the new trainer of France,
coaching the marathon team in France, and seemingly recognised that the K2 race is where their best chances lie, and at the moment, at least, you'd have to agree with him. And on the far side, France moving up again. That'll stir things up. Off goes Adam, and that has to be matched by Alonso. Hungarians will come around McGregor, who is more than willing to fall back to the place he wants to be.
And have been most of the race so far.
Now, on the far side, now the Hungarians need to let Burkett come through now and take Hank off that V-wash, but they're unhappy doing that. The Spanish look good.
Very good. We saw that in the Europeans as well. Doing very well together. Very well coordinated.
Through come the second Hungarians. This is going to be a sustained effort because the turn is fairly close now and no one wants to be off the back for that.
Martin Mesharos and Valint Gere.
Way too many fast bits, and McGregor constantly tracking into that V-wash. Each one of these costs a certain amount, and each one of these is costing McGregor about half as much as anyone else. He just moves around in that back V-wash. So coming up to the turn, about 150 metres to go to the turn. Alonso just having a chat with Pina Estefez in the back.
Very relaxed there from both of them.
Sort of information he might be handing over is that his partner may be pulling too hard. Alonso, we know, doesn't want to travel too fast when he's leading. Sometimes backmen can get a little bit excitable.
And you are in the back in the K2, you're seeing the others coming up all the time, and it's very easy to use a little bit too much strength. It's easy for the front guy, but you're two in the boat and need to have strength, both of you.
Here we go. This is the race to the turn.
Boris is eager to take the initiative around the turn. Watch McGregor now.
It's too easy. It's too easy for McGregor here.
Shoulders down, just relaxing. Master of the game from the V-wash.
It's going to be tough for Hungary too on the inside. It's Messeros and Gear. They're going to have to drop back. And there's not really anywhere for them to drop back to. Pendle and Rutherford neatly positioned in the middle of the group there. Should be safe around this one. And they've gone very close to that buoy. They're leaving no room on the inside. And that's going to string things out a little bit. And they're going. So they've come in there with some intent. McGregor having to cover this one. You can see how hard he's working now. He'll come up the inside around this buoy and should be safe. Tidily done. French fall into the V-wash. And that's created a little bit of space between these front seven and the rest of the field. I think that will close up. Hungarians going for it for now. There's your three big names at the front of this race. Burkitt coming around the side.
From Burkitt and Hatting, they should keep going now.
Surely they'll finish that off.
Yeah.
What's to lose by finishing off? McGregor gets what he wants.
Yes.
Burkitt gets what he wants.
Maybe,
he should finish it.
Maybe they are just a little bit too tired.
Possibly.
Once again, Burkitt and Hatting on the left-hand side of McGregor and Mocke not doing anything. Oh, there.
Oh, so this is going to get quite fun at some stage. That's full on from McGregor there. There's no messing with that. That is full on. And they really are trying to establish some sort of dominance in the early stages of this race.
Now they have shown, don't mess with us. We are doing what we want in this race.
600 metres to go to the...
A little bit of recovery time now for the South Africans.
McGregor and Mock really push the lead there to make sure that...
McGregor going to the right-hand side. Hungarians coming round to go to the left. McGregor might change his mind and push them to the left now. They're going for it. You can see the strain on Hatting's face. He's full out. Spaniards looking comfortable. Even if they're only going to get what's left, they don't look stressed about that.
Not at all.
And they're all going to come in pretty much together. It's going to be McGregor first.
Nice and tidy. Wow.
Too slow from the Hungarians. They're going to get closed down on the landing stage. There's going to be a lot of elbows. South Africans and Spanish way tidier than the others through there. Drinks given to the South Africans. French still going well. Hungarian still in there. So far, it's the Spanish who've done the least. Boros, Salty, clear on the left. Pendle and Rutherford just behind them. It's going to go well for both the crews on the left-hand side. They'll both come back in touch. South Africans away.
Very, very good.
Spanish following them. It was Burkett and Hatting.
Yeah, very good. They weren't first up from the water, but their running was excellent, and also the departure from the Portage.
Good work from Pendle and Rutherford moving through there. Boros moved out to let them through. And why did he let them through? To force McGregor's second wash out. Yeah. Boros is starting to think this game through really well this afternoon.
Argentina. Another good achievement of Argentina. Nestor Pinta and Leonardo Mochicafredo. That were 10th.
Round goes McGregor. Yeah. He's going to find himself in the lead because they keep putting him second wash out. They're doing a little bit better job on him today. Just push to the front. Now we hope that the Spanish come through. They'll relax down. No, he won't. They can't relax until the threat from the right-hand side's gone. Pendle and Rutherford, it's gone now. And now they can relax. All settle down again. Second Hungarians, another attack on the right. It's Boros and Salty. And that squeezes. The Spanish to the front. Great Britain, the beneficiary there. They fall back to the V. Hatting just being forced back.
And destroyed a bit for...
And Hatting's gone inside that buoy. He hit the buoy and came to the left of the buoy. I think he's going to have to go back round that one, and this could break the group up now. So Hatting's out of the picture, at least for now. He's been risking it on the inside of that group every turn so far. That was a risk too far on that lap, and there you can see him at the top of your picture. He's got some work to do now. It's France from Hungary, and we're one South African crew down, and all of a sudden that South African 1-2 doesn't look quite as likely as it did. So about 100 metres or less to go to the Portage. Hungary very much in control of this one. Spain not put a foot wrong so far in this race. McGregor won't be stressed that he's not being able to choose where he goes. He's got plenty of time here. And the two French crews looking good. Off goes Boros to the right-hand side as we look at it. Great Britain going with him. They did the same on the first Portage, and it worked out well for both crews. Up and away. Hungarians away, Spanish away. And McGregor. Alonso just waiting, going back so he can get through the drinks channel. Hungarians free to run at the front now. And the Hungarians are entering into the spirit of this one. McGregor and Mocker just wanting to be close enough so that the Hungarians can't run. They're in, they're away, but they're not going to be away quick enough. A little bit of rush from the South Africans there. They weren't comfortable with the Hungarians getting away, and it's one boat away. The French are in all sorts of trouble. They got their rudder stuck in the gap between the landing stage and the outside bit. They might not even make this if their rudder's broken. Spanish, having come through the drink stop and then got balked by the French as they got in, have got a bit of work to do for the first time. And it's Hungary versus South Africa at the front. I think it will close up. It's a long way to go yet, especially as Spain are back there and they've looked good so far. But it was the French that did the damage there with a little bit of incompetence at the Portage. And it's the Hungarians who are capitalising on that.
Trying to keep South Africa off, but I think they will gain both of them to work together instead. Now, there McGregor is back on the wash.
McGregor just having a chat. Mocker there. Pace just dropping slightly. You see how McGregor just moved up on the wash. As they came out of the lee of that island, you saw the waves break over the front of the boats. A sustained chase here by this pack. Spanish supporters. That's it, they're back. So, the crew that gained the most from that, Spain.
Yeah.
They did none of the catching, they did none of the running.
They set the speed though in the chasing party when they started the chase, but then just was hanging.
Moving out to the land, right-hand side of the landing stage go these three crews. To the left goes everyone else. They might come together again because the speed's high. As they come in, it's the French and the Spanish. McGregor just tucking in behind. He's coming to the right-hand side of the land stage. Very calm move from McGregor. He's going to hold out the Hungarians on this side. No, he's not. He's still going to the left. So a couple of changes of minds from McGregor there. Spaniards, calm. Hungarians, not calm. Salty takes a little tumble. The other Hungarians throw their paddle in the water. They've gone back for them. So Hungarians who came in first are running last now. McGregor, comfortable.
Just smiling. So cool.
I'm saying nothing, Stefan. So it's McGregor, Alonso and Boros all still impressing.
All looks pretty comfortable. Everyone.
Rutherford and Pendle. For those asking the question, it's Edward Rutherford. Although I think his official first name is William, but known as Ed.
Both French crews are within the top four now. South Africa, Hungary, France, and Spain.
And we're joined in the studio. You guys don't know how privileged you are by this. By the great Alan Laws, organiser of the very first, or one of the organisers of the very first World Championships, way back in 1988. Here we are in 2016. And, how's your baby been growing?
I think you can see from this afternoon how well it's been growing. The standard has gone from virtually nothing right through to the top. You've seen it as well, because you were there in '88.
Are you saying my standard in 1988 was virtually nothing there, Alan? Because I might disagree with that.
Both of us.
I see what you're saying, though. The quality of this event is huge.
Yeah, I was trying to refer to the fact that at the end of the first 500 metres, you were second last and still managed to pull up near to the beginning.
Not sure I needed that reminder. Thanks, Alan. But Stefan, you ask him a question before I hit him.
Yeah, but you really started earlier than '88 in the committee. You were not one of the founders, even if you were working in the background already then, but you have been in the committee since 1982.
Yes, that's right. I was privileged really to join quite a lot of good people who have been instrumental right from the very beginning, back in 1976 in London. I was only brought in 78, 79 to try and emphasise the situation, because at that time I was the chairman of the British Canoe Union, as it was then, Marathon Committee. I'd been in the chair since 1974 because I stopped paddling competitively because of a back injury. And it seemed that the sport had already given me quite a lot, so I was trying to put some back.
It's Hungary leading. Hungary on their left as we look at them. Spain on the right. McGregor tucked in the V where he's been for a lot of this race. Great Britain placed safely on the outside. A little bit dodgy there. Alonso. McGregor wants to come out. I can't believe people let him out that easy. What are the other Spanish doing? So it's Hungary from Hungary. No one's looked right yet to see McGregor, except Alonso. He's going over there.
Once again, Burkett and Hatting is within the top group. As we thought.
In they come. McGregor stopping fairly early, but plenty late enough to let the Spanish get out. Boris Salty away first. McGregor next. Alonso next. Three big players always just working their way to the front. Great run from the two young Hungarians. They're sorting out their drink straws. McGregor not laughing this time. And through they go. It's a huge group still. Pendle and Rutherford fighting it a little bit at the back of this. The Germans with them now. Boats 7, 2, 3. That's Paufler and Paufler. Away go Boris and Salty. Away go McGregor and Mocker. They're all safe. Burkett and Hatting held up by the French. The French are just a complete nightmare on this Portage, to be fair. Pendle and Rutherford away. The other French crew away. Spaniards safe on the outside. Boris and Salty
once again
trying to hand it to them again.
From them. We saw that also last year. Excellent portages, these Salty and Boros. We'll soon be together again. Now on the third position is the second Spanish crew. Coming back from the second group.
It's getting a little bit tough at the back of that group for Great Britain, South Africa and the Germans. There's a little gap opened. And they're well strung out now. Pretty much a nose to tail line. Right back to the second French crew. And then a gap between them and Great Britain, South Africa and Germany with the Paufler brothers. So that's the front group. As you see it there, Alonso making a strong move to get up to the front. Covering the ground well, just squeezing out Boris and Salty, joining in on the back of McGregor. Boris Salty will come left. They'll have to come up the side of the other Spaniards. The other Spaniards moving up for their countrymen there, I'm pretty sure of that.
Once again, Hatting and Burkett dropped off a little bit, and they are now forming a second group.
It's all come together again. Hatting and Burkett racing quite expensively. They made a failed attempt to get in the cosy front four. McGregor still pretty much choosing where he goes, as is Alonso. And pretty much as we left it, second group have closed in, but they're not going to do any damage, I don't think. And they're just approaching the top turn. And as we go around the top turn, no one's stuck on the inside this time, so it should all go off pretty smoothly. So we've got Hungarians at the front, Spain, then the two South Africans, then Great Britain, the two French, and behind them, then we've got the second Spanish crew, yep, and the Germans. Where did Adam and Odvarko go? There they are in the background. Not sure what happened to them, but they were part of the second group. So maybe that second group, only Great Britain and South Africa maybe were the only ones who closed the gap. So well done to both of those. Off goes Salty and Boros. A bit of a change of pace. It's fallen well for Hatting and Burkett. They need to get some rest while they can now. But have a look at Alonso and how comfortable he was with that change. McGregor will be there somewhere. You see that little gap, and that was Boros and Solti's turn of speed that did that. There's McGregor. A little bit of a showdown. McGregor trying to stop Alonso coming round and getting to Boros and Solti, but instead found himself leading. Boros and Solti will happily take what the other Hungarians have just given them. And everyone, the three main players, was Burkett and Hatting. Didn't drop out of that wash quite quickly enough. Had a little bit of a coming together with the Hungarians. But this race is panning out to be a very interesting one. See Jasper Mocker pumping, getting the water out the boat. He's got about 5 minutes to do that before the portage. And on go the Hungarians again.
And now it's traditional shifting positions, as we saw in the K1 race yesterday. Everyone searching for good position, trying to get a comfortable route.
It's going to be hard to get into the landing stage from there. He's done a great job of that. Very tidy indeed. McGregor getting out with a bit of intent, but been squeezed on the landing stage by the other two main contenders. Second Hungarians struggling out to get out their boat, but it's Boros and Solti.
It's Alonso and
Pina Estevez. They've just ducked under the back of Boros and Solti purely to keep the South Africans on their left. The South Africans moved right, so they moved back to the right again. So there's a lot going on in these portages.
We're seeing the same scenario in every portage now. It's Hungary, Spain and South Africa in top. And I think that tells something.
Yep, it's the three big players, always comfortable, always safe. You see Hatting and Burkett, what on earth? They're waiting, then they're changing sides.
Once again, Hungary is away. That tells also something.
So Hungary, confident, they're moving away. It looks to me like McGregor's going to let the other Hungarians make the chase. This is not a time you want to do too much work unless you have to. The Spaniards holding the South Africans out. Burkett and Hatting. Everyone around cleanly. Even the Spaniards had to drop back on that one. No room left for anyone. Around they come and looking for another leader. It could be the South Africans. I think Alonso has decided he wants to stay in that front four for the rest of the day now. Spain in first. It's going to be Hatting second. Boros and Solti will maybe leave before Hatting. Yes, they have. So it's Boros and Solti will get onto the side watch of Alonso. First time we've seen Alonso doing some work, and it's serious work at the front there. Just trying to make people suffer a little bit. It's Pendle and Rutherford that's going to suffer the most here. Expect to see the nose of Hatting's boat. Maybe next time we see them, eh? Oh, that doesn't look good. Looked like it hurt quite a lot.
Just 20 meters more to the portage. Now comes Hungary. And here goes McGregor.
This is going to be tense, but I think it's McGregor's portage. It's gone right to the end to balk the Spanish. The Spanish are in a lot of trouble because the French again took the back of the Spanish boat there. The French have been an absolute nightmare in this race for all the other crews. The Spanish were coming into the portage. The French tapped the back of their boat. And where are the Spanish now? Absolutely nowhere. And that is
they are
a
still within the race.
disaster for the Spanish.
Here comes Hungary, and it's South Africa, and it's Hungary in the final Portage.
This is so sad for the Spanish, and it wasn't their fault. Alonso must be cursing.
But it's Hungary, and it's South Africa, and South Africa out first, and Hungary
waiting
and South
for
Africa
them.
together.
Hungary let the South Africans go. Hatting in a spot of trouble with the Spanish. Spanish aren't going to make it. It could be Hatting and Burkitt for a bronze here. McGregor could save Burkitt here if he just speeds up. And I think he's going to do that for them.
Alonso knows that. Having been looking quite comfortable all race through, Alonso and Pina. And now they're fought off by Burkitt and Hatting. Resting a little bit on the wash there. It's a lot of tactics going on now.
It's not the shape of the group. It's not the ideal shape for the fans, this one, unless you're South African, of course.
Good team racing there from South Africa. Hatting and Burkitt could fight Spain off there. They would help their teammates in front a lot. Speed is high now.
Burkitt having a little pop, I think, at their teammates. I said it last year, but I think this one's done.
Yeah. Hungary is perfectly positioned out there. They are just resting now on the wash while the struggle is ongoing on the inner side.
The Spanish again. Hungarians look tired on the outside there.
I wouldn't agree on that. I think they are resting there on the wash in a quite perfect position.
You were right last year, Stefan, so I'm not going to argue with you this year.
But Alonso and Pina need to do something now. And here they come. Yes.
Hank and Jasper looking after Hatting and Burkitt very nicely.
Very nice team racing there from them.
It's big going into the turn, and the Spanish failed to make it, but they're going to cause a bit of problem there. They're going to be last around the turn. I feel for the Spanish in this. They did everything right. This is set very well for the South Africans for a 2-medal finish here. Spain, I think.
Spain is taking a longer route on the outside.
They're going to have to go all the way from there. It's going to be a very long route round. Can't be done. But it is going to stress McGregor. And we know the Hungarian's going to leave it for the last 50, 60 metres.
Absolutely so.
What we'll see, though, McGregor won't fall for it this time. In fact, the Spanish are going to come.
Yes.
It's going to force the Hungarians to go early.
It's a little
and
bit
the race begins
too
early for the Hungarians.
Yeah. And the race is on now. It's 250 meters to go, close to 300 meters to go. This is a long sprint.
It's too long, this long sprint. Somebody's going to pay. This is going to fall for Burkitt and Hatting, I think. They'll be running down the wash at the end. It's going to be Burkitt and Burkitt and Hatting going to gain from this. It's going to be South Africa.
It's going to be South
Certainly
Africa.
First.
This time it's South Africa. We're watching over the shoulder now. It's South Africa.
And here come the Hungarians again. It's going to be close. It's going to be South Africa first.
And it's Jasper Mokke. And it's
Hungary second.
Hungary in second position. It's South Africa on bronze medal. Wow, what a race.
Not quite the drama we saw last year, but a phenomenal race. I feel so bad for the Spanish. They really deserve to be part of that.
But what a race
wasn't to be.
Of the South African team, and also Hungary. They weren't finished, they were coming, and they were forced to take on the in-sprint a little bit too early for them, but they secured the silver medal anyway.